Hello, everybody. Average Gamer here. Welcome to another review for Hearts of Iron 4. So usually in this point, another day, another mod review. Recently today, the mod 1.1 came out for Hearts of Iron, aka the Red Ball Express patch, and I thought I would do a patch review today instead of a mod review. Kind of go over a couple of different things the patch brought in that came out that's important in my eyes. So, first few things. It is save game compatible. I just loaded up a new one here just so it'd be a lot easier. There are tons of tweaks to the AI to make it actually harder, make it not so easy to stomp anymore. Tons of bug fixes and a whole bunch of quality of life changes. But fuck it, let's get into it, shall we? So the first one I wanted to mention is the new. We're going to set up a front here, and we're just going to draw an advanced line like so. So, first thing you'd remember, right? When usually playing the AI, when issuing orders, would move forward at a rather slow pace, right? Or at times it would act it would act weird. Like you would tell it to go do something, and it would push to a certain point, and then it would stop, right? Like my army here is supposed to go all the way to Warsaw, but the units down here would just kind of putter out about here-ish with no real reason why. And you're realizing that they're probably just doing it because they don't want to push and extend themselves and put themselves in a precarious situation. They don't want to expose their flank to being counter pushed down here, or one way, one thing or another. Well, they've made a change to that to the game. So the first thing is this up here. So they have 3 new plans or executable orders when now ordering battle plans to be executed. The first one is to cautiously advance. So when the plans carried out, units will not attack heavily fortified locations unless they are unmanned. They'll avoid attacking provinces which will weaken the front line by making it longer. So basically the guys here will push up no problem, but then these guys here might have a problem. So these guys. Basically, you'd want to do this if it were to consolidate your front line and not go too balls to the wall. Next one is balanced. So this is basically just how it acts now. So the standard rules for carrying out battle plans are in effect. Units will attempt to advance in a manner that keeps the front line as short as possible and may attack fortified positions if possible. Which I think, very good idea. And last but not least, aggressive. Units will attack provinces that are part of the plan, even if it may mean that the front line becomes longer, or puts units in exposed positions. So, meaning for these guys down here, they wouldn't push this way because it would put them in exposed spots from being attacked from their flank. Here, they wouldn't care. They would just push up no matter what. So this is a good way to use multiple different tactics in a plan. So, for example, my primary force here, tell them to go cautious, so they push forward here. Put some tanks here, tell them to aggressively push towards Altprusen this way, and try to encapsulate everybody here. Have another group there that's, told specifically, balls to the wall, aggressive, capture Danzig. And you can have a huge pocket here where you capture guys, and they're going to be, being bled to dry with supplies and things like that. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. I like that, because now you can gauge your plans a little bit better, like telling your tanks to be more aggressive, while your infantry kind of comes in behind it a little bit more cautious, and then have other units in positions where you want them to push forward, but slowly, you tell them to go cautiously. That's the first thing. The next thing is you are now able to make new division templates, and you don't basically you save now XP, right? You don't have to duplicate it or whatever. So beforehand, when creating a unit, you had to go into one of these, or it basically was a screen here, and you would lose, right? You lose XP by adding and whatever. So you notice right now, we're saving nothing. If we wanted to remove these guys, say we wanted a garrison unit, right? Mobile. I want you all cavalry. I want to remove all you. And I want to have a recon company, and we'll pretend one of these was a military police one. This would cost us 75. Even if we said, hey, we wanted it, we'd have to set it up as a duplicate. Now, we hit Division Designer, you can click this, and go to Create Empty. You can now create one from scratch. If I'm not mistaken, it limits you to, I think, 3. Oh no, right from the start it starts costing you. So to design a new one's going to cost you, but on the bright side, it's not going to cost a massive amounts, which is good. Which brings me to the next part. Oops. When making plans and modifications to your army, right? I don't know if you're like me, but... Oh, no, I want my inventory. So in my inventory here, I've got like 10 infantry equipment, 199 convoys, and that's it right now. One of the few things I wanted to know, long-term, short-term, is when I build and design, what am I using, how am I using it up, and all that stuff. Because before it would show you green arrows, or saying, hey, it's gotten better, but red arrows telling you it's gotten worse. So you never could really figure it out, right? So for example, removing 2 things of infantry, you see now all the red and the green. So like here, our HP is going down by 50. So we now know removing 2 of these has reduced it by 50. Our organization's gone down by 2 because we removed 2 units. Recovery rate is gone down by 0. Suppression's gone down by 2, etc., etc. Our actual required equipment is down 200. Manpower is down 2,000. But here's the good thing. So I'm going to hover over our infantry equipment here, and it's going to show you 24 divisions are currently using this template. The requirements for infantry equipment will be changed by minus 4,800 in total. We have 10,000 in storage. If we accept these changes from the template, we will estimate to have 4,810 in storage. So it tells you, A, how many units now use said equipment, B, how much it's going to cost you. So in this case, we're losing 4,800 equipment from all those units. And it's telling us right now we have 10 in storage, which is right here. But it's telling us if we make this change, we're going to gain 4,810, which is good. I like that. It also goes the other way. So we're going to add 2 things of artillery here. It's going to show us a whole lot of stuff's gone down, but a whole lot of stuff's gone up. Like our soft attack has gone up to 63. Our hard attack has gone up by 2. Our breakthrough has gone up by 6. Piercing has gone up by 0.1. Manpower, it's still down, but it's only down by 1,000. Artillery, 24 divisions, or total artillery being that we're going to need is 72. 24 divisions are currently using this template. The total artillery will be changed by 1,728. We currently have 0, so we'll have a negative of 1,728. So that's a good way for you to know what amount you're going to need in your stockpile over here to build out and put in these units. Something I think is really, really important for plans. Like if you're at war right now, if we were at war right now, I would want to know just how much am I going to have to put out, or how much am I going to need, right? So I think it's a good little thing that they've added in there. I think it's very good, helps a lot, and in the end, it gives you more information to make better and better choices. Next one is the air-based button, or air-based options. We're going to deploy some aircraft here. I think that's pretty much all we could deploy. Yeah. So right now we have everyone deployed to East Germany. So you'll notice the first thing that's new is this little button right here. So before it would just say fighter, and there'd be nothing below. You can now click that, and it automatically opens the airbase associated with said aircraft. I love that. I love it quite a bit. Now, when you actually select or you're doing something, when you actually click the button there, it actually gives you the information here, for example. I love it. I like it. I believe it's... Well, it's something that we really needed, right? If I want to know exactly what aircraft, like I can see what's coming from Ostpreußen, just this one fighter. But if I wanted to add more aircraft wings to this, for example, I'd have to like go find the base, click the base, and do all those sorts of stuff. So what I'm going to do is show you something that's even newer. I'm going to move this tactical bomber here. So you'll notice right now we moved, right? We moved this tactical bomber from Brandenburg to Ostpreußen. And you'll notice right here it tells you that it's being moved. Well, what you can now do is tell aircraft in the middle of being transferred where you want them to go. So we move this aircraft from Brandenburg here to Ostpreußen, and told it when you get to Ostpreußen, we want you to do close air support in Eastern Poland, Western Poland. And it immediately shows up. I love that. I think that's amazing. You can now do it also with aircraft when you're adding them. We're going to click here, which brings me to the next option, which is this right here. It now shows you that you can add 50, add 100, etc., etc., etc. Add, remove, take away aircraft, all that stuff. It's a lot easier than having to do it the way it was before, where you clicked and dragged. And, you would have to add or remove one or whatever. You can still do it the easy way, which is just move all equipment. But here's the best part. While deploying, you can now tell that aircraft to do stuff as well. So now, while deploying aircraft from reserves, you can now tell them to be, basically when they get to the airbase, be like, hey, once you get to Ostprussen from the reserves, I want you immediately go into close air support, naval bombing, and port strikes. Those are your 3 options. I want you to go do them right when you get to the airbase. I love that. So now you won't end up with the whole inactive aircraft thing here. Every time you deploy aircraft, I love that. It's very, very good. In the production tab, you can now shift click, as you'll see here, and everything now goes away. So for example, at the beginning, everything's clicked, right? Before you had to unclick, I will unclick everything, and then on, off, on, off, on, off, right? Now, if you just hold shift, you can just see each one separately. There you go. I would prefer a filtering option. Like infantry equipment, etc., like just by name or something like that. So by name, priority, etc., etc. That would be something that I would like. But that's still pretty good. I like that. As well, when fleets are now in multiple different locations, like say you had a fleet of mostly destroyers in the North Sea, the English Channel, and the Western approaches, basically all the way around England, looking for submarines and all this stuff, doing convoy raiding, trying to help. Sorry about that. Help starving, the UK. And you had a bunch of submarines, and you're like, you know what? I really think they would need a little bit of submarine help. Or even if you have more destroyers, right? Before, you'd have to bring the entire fleet back to one of your naval bases, combine them there, and then send them back out again. Or send them all to like one little tile, like a tile, like right here. Tell them all to go here, and then put them all together and tell them to go do this thing again. No longer. You can now, in whether they're at other bases or whatever, you can actually tell, like we're going to tell our fleet here in tell our fleet in Northwest Germany and in Poland. We're going to tell them right, merge. And we're going to tell you to be the leader. So now, if I'm not mistaken, the bottom fleet will automatically go to the southern fleet, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So whichever fleet's selected first is the fleet that will be assigned to. So if you select multiple different fleets to go to, say for here, Northwest Germany, all our fleets will go to the very first fleet that we selected, because that's the one we selected first as the priority. In conjunction with that as well, you can now assign admirals to a fleet while they're out at sea. Those are pretty much the things I noticed that that were at the forefront in my eyes of said patch. Like I said, lots of tons of bugs fixes, tons of tweaks. Overall, very good patch. One of the good things about Paradox, they're always on the ball when it comes to these things. They're going for feedback. They talked to a couple people that have been playing the game now for a while and got their feedback into requesting features being added into the game and things like that. So they're always listening to the